Out of all the superheroes that have been adapted into live action, none have had more portrayals than Batman. And today, we're gonna try and figure out who is the greatest actor among them.
Batman's been represented on the screen since like 1960 all the way up to present day, with each portrayal having its own pluses and minuses.
Definitely. Guys, I'm Thomas.
I'm Merlin.
And together we're the Comic Lads.
Let's get into this. But before we get started, guys, we want to hear from you. Who is your personal favorite on-screen Batman depiction? From Adam West all the way up to Robert Pattinson, who is your absolute favorite?
Also, guys, remember to like, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already. Join the lads.
Join the lads.
Become a lad.
A fellow lad.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So we're going to be ranking and discussing them, why we like them, why we don't. We're not going to be talking about the actor from the 1940s serials.
We tried to like get kind of caught up with him, and we watched like a few scenes before shooting this video. We just figured there's not much to really say. Like if he had to be in the ranking, he's at the bottom.
Yeah,
okay?
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's gotta be.
But let's get into the actual list. So excluding the 1940s Batman, there are 7 prominent Batman roles that need to be placed in this ranking.
Yeah.
But I think starting off this list, we have George Clooney.
Yeah, to nobody's surprise. Hey, he's just at the bottom. Like, I think he has one good scene, maybe a couple, but it's like when he's just George Clooney talking to Alfred.
Yeah.
That one's kind of good.
You brought up like a good scene too when he's talking to Alfred and he's like talking about like how he was like raising him well, and it was like it was a very touching scene, and Alfred's like on his deathbed, even though he doesn't end up dying in that movie.
Yeah, it's a stupid fake out.
In Batman and Robin. But I think he's too goofy, and he's not like the kind of nice, campy Adam West goofy where you really appreciate it for what it is. It's kind of like, it's more cringe with him.
He doesn't disappear in the role at all, too. I'm like, that's George Clooney in like a horrible costume.
And like thinking back on it, he's not really in that much of the movie, I don't think.
No, it's like, well, like Arnold gets top billing in the cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was paid like $50 million for that role, I think.
That's a sick joke.
Yeah.
50 million on nothing.
I know.
But yeah, George Clooney, he's at the bottom. I don't think anyone will be pissed about that.
Agreed.
Like, come on, guys. Okay. Listen, guys. Listen. Next one's Ben Affleck.
Guys. Don't hate us. One thing that I will give him credit for, which I think like obviously boosts him above Clooney, is his fight scenes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, we gotta give a lot of credit to his stunt double for his fight scenes.
Yeah, like the warehouse fight scene in particular.
Yeah,
is cool. Like the best Batman has ever looked in an action scene, I think.
Yeah, it's very
on
cool.
Screen.
It does nothing for his performance.
He could have been better.
Yeah,
I think it's more just
it's the writing that kills his version of the character.
It's Zack Snyder's like interpretation of Batman, where like, you know, obviously they went for kind of the Dark Knight Returns feel to it, where it's an older, more seasoned, more like emotionally broken Batman.
Yeah, but it's not even Dark Knight Returns though, because there's still a fire in him in Dark Knight Returns, and there's still part of what he was when he was younger, and in this it just feels like a sad shell with no personality in there. Yeah. He's just dead inside, and it's just tough to watch because Ben Affleck can't do anything with that performance.
It's not Batman. Like he breaks his 2 rules, which is no guns and no killing. Like he absolutely obliterates people in these movies.
Yeah, and like without thought too. And you guys are gonna say like, oh, it's because of like the story. I'm like, that sucks though. They wrote that. They chose to write that after like we've been waiting for years and years and years to see a comic book accurate Batman. And the first thing they did was have him drink alcohol. He
drinks alcohol in the Justice League scene right before they're about to go confront Steppenwolf and all that shit. Remember?
He drinks it when he wakes up too in the beginning of the movie. He wakes up and he's drinking. But like, this sucks.
But especially in Justice League, it's like, okay, so the whole fate of the world is hanging in the balance. It's such a stupid, like, geeky thing to freak out about.
No, but
it's so not Batman. Like, Batman's the type of guy that every percentage that he can make himself better or more proficient, even if it's 1 or 2%, he's gonna go in favor of that to make sure nothing fucks up. And it's like, you're drinking alcohol?
Yeah, but dude, that's what he was like in the past. Next up.
This is gonna really upset people.
Nobody's watching this video.
No, guys, okay. guys, before we continue, let's just keep in mind this is our list.
Yeah.
Especially with the next one that we're about to say.
Yeah, listen, this is just how we feel about them. We're not trying to say this is the definitive anything for Batman actors.
It's just our personal takes, you know what I mean? Like, you guys are free to have other ones, and I'm sure the next one you definitely will.
Yeah.
Let's get into the next ranking. It is... Oh, Michael Keaton.
No.
Okay, guys.
This is kind of fucked.
Obviously, Batman 89 is culturally so significant. It changed how a lot of people just in general thought about Batman.
And it's just a solid movie also.
Exactly. So all I have to say is these rankings are based on the Batman itself, not the movie tied to it. Obviously, Batman 89 is a very great movie for what it's done culturally and everything in the world, introducing a lot of people to Batman for the first time even. But Michael Keaton's portrayal,
he's just himself. He's just Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing to it, I find.
And like, I like when directors do their own thing with the character. Sometimes. For me, it's a tad too Tim Burton-y in certain ways. Obviously, the art style, all that works with it really well. But I don't need to see Michael Keaton hanging from a ceiling while he's sleeping.
That's the funniest shit ever. It's just so good.
I don't know, there's one scene in particular that obviously gets memed on and quoted a lot. Joker confronts him as Bruce Wayne and he like smashes, you know, the tables like, you wanna get nuts? Let's get nuts! And it's like, that's so not Batman.
Not at all.
Even though it's a great line and everything, but... Yeah.
It feels like I'm watching this weird alternate like Batman where it's Michael Keaton as Batman. Does that make any sense, or am I just like...
No, I get it, 100%. Keaton also kills in these movies.
Yeah, also that.
You know what I mean?
I can't have, like...
As soon as you have a Batman that kills, you kind of lose me a little bit. Like, that's his legit one rule. Otherwise, Joker would have been dead, like, so long ago in the comics.
Like, I'm not gonna cite the ending of Batman 89 where he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill you to Joker, because then it's kind of justified. Because it is like him finding Joe Chill and it's the Joker. That part's justified, but when he's indiscriminately blowing people up in the Batmobile and like in Batman Returns when he drops that dude in the sewer with the bombs.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is happening? Sorry, guys.
All right, the worst is over, I think.
I think so. All right, guys. The next one, it was kind of tough to place the 90s Batman actors, but this is what we went with. The next one we have is Val Kilmer from Batman Forever. Only got to be Batman in one movie, but I wish he was Batman in two because George Clooney just shit the bed, dude.
He's so underrated, man.
Yeah,
and like, I have a bit of a soft spot with this movie just because this was like the only Batman movie I had as a kid up until obviously the Dark Knight and Christian Bale's performance and all that.
Yeah.
Those four movies, like Batman 89, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin, are kind of all the same Batman.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like, it's kind of loose, but at the same time, they're supposed to all fit together.
Yeah.
There's just certain things that they do with Val Kilmer's Batman that kind of rectifies the fuck-ups that they did with Keaton specifically.
Yeah.
So they like really go back on his whole killing and they actually address it. Like, I remember there's this one scene in particular where Dick Grayson is like trying to find his parents' killers.
Yeah.
And Val Kilmer has this like heart-to-heart with him. He's like, this isn't gonna fix your pain, trust me, I know. Like, you're gonna go out into the night and you're gonna find someone else and another face until you realize one day that you don't even know what you are anymore. That kind of plays with the fact and acknowledges that Keaton's Batman was very
like a sick
brutal.
fuck.
Exactly. Yeah. And like that had an effect on him, and now Val Kilmer has bettered himself because of it.
That all goes to say, long story short, Val Kilmer's Batman is better than you remember.
It's underrated.
I agree.
We should do a Batman Forever breakdown.
We should. His performance gets lost in how ridiculous the rest of the movie is.
Yeah, it's Joe Schumacher, bro. Like,
yeah.
He kind of...
There are great things buried in, like, the pile of crazy that Joel Schumacher threw onto the movie.
But I have seen, apparently, a lot of those, like, deep psyche introspective moments were actually cut. Well, I did see like some deleted scenes where he's like facing a giant bat, which looks like,
I kind of like that though. Like,
yeah,
that's like, they kind of did something like that with the Batman v Superman, but it's like dark and edgy and it's like gushing like black blood and shit.
Yeah,
and you're like, Batman Forever did it better. Sound off in the comments.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts, guys.
Oh, no.
All right.
You got
This is just this next one.
this list, bro. No. Like to every single person watching, it's like this list is a fucking travesty.
I'm so sorry, guys.
I'm not sorry. I'm happy because this is actually how I feel.
I know.
You know?
I know.
We're all boys here and we're all fans of this stuff.
Agreed. All that to say is, guys, the next one, our number 3 ranking
I can't believe it.
is Adam West.
Yes, it's Adam West.
Okay, guys, we have talked at great lengths of Adam West Batman before, and we even did a review of the original Adam West 1969 Batman movie.
I think it was 66.
66? Oh, it was. You're right, 66. Go watch that after. It's our first video. The quality of it is horrible, but whatever, our thoughts are fun.
I think it's a good time.
So we have talked at great lengths about this Batman, and I'm gonna give the same excuse that we've used every time we brought him up, is that we both grew up with this Batman.
I love him to death. It's just comfort for me.
It is. It's so comforting. You can put it on a rainy day, you know what I mean? Just be hanging out with Batman and Robin, Adam West and Burt Ward.
Yeah.
You brought up a really good point earlier, and I think you should be the one to say it.
Yes. I feel like a lot of you guys are gonna be like,
You said Ben Affleck was like nothing like Batman, and now you're saying Adam West is one of your favorites and he's nothing like Batman is?
Adam West is a perfect rendition of what Batman was at the time, which is goofy, sci-fi, not even sci-fi, but like goofy,
Fantastical.
kind of fantastical, pulpy fun. And that's what every single Batman comic was for like 20 some odd years, maybe 30 back then in the 40s and the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And he does a perfect job at that.
It's amazing.
And if you're gonna counter me and say that Ben Affleck does a perfect rendition of Dark Knight Returns Batman, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree because I find he's a bastardization of Dark Knight Returns Batman. The one thing that I'll say about him that bugs me, but not really bugs me, is that in the movie we watched, he's kind of like creepy.
Well, he's like down horrible for Selena.
Yeah, bro. Like he's
Like foaming at the mouth.
yeah,
to get
he's
with
like
her.
this close to her at all times. Bro.
Yeah. But I mean, you know.
We've all been.
Yeah. You know.
The Batman 66 show, there's just a certain charm to it.
Yeah, it's very charming.
He plays so well off of Burt Ward and the rest of the cast. I just feel like I'm in that time reading a 1960s Batman comic where like,
Exactly.
I don't know, Alfred gets mind controlled by like a dinosaur or something, and you're like, yeah, this is Batman.
It doesn't take itself too seriously,
Yeah.
but it works to its advantage in that way.
I agree. Now, our number 2 pick, it was very close. Super close. Number 2 is Robert Pattinson. He's so sick as Batman. He's the only big screen Batman that's made me feel as though I'm listening to the animated series Batman.
Yeah, and I feel like building off of that, I feel like the Batman movie feels the most like a comic book that's come to life.
Yeah.
Even more so than the Bale movies in certain ways.
Definitely.
I mean, it's very grungy, it's very detective-y. I feel like each frame almost looks like a comic book panel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like that they brought Pattinson's roots back to just straight up being a detective. You know what I mean?
I agree. It was like sorely missing from every interpretation before.
Like the way he would like navigate like a crime scene and like pick up these little clues. You can get so much from him just from like a simple look even, you know what I mean? The only thing for us when we're compiling this list that kind of stops him from being first at the moment is that we've only really explored one side of Batman, and that's Batman. And I feel like there's a little bit more room to be fleshed out there with his interpretation of Bruce Wayne.
Listen, when the Batman 2 comes out,
Agreed. Yeah.
he might instantly be like, oh, that's my favorite Batman ever, because his Bruce Wayne persona is like so good.
So guys, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
Number 1. You guys know it. We know it. It's Christian Bale.
It's still Christian Bale.
He, you know, it was close with Pattinson, but I feel like for now his movies just edge him out a little bit more. Christopher Nolan did a really good job at fleshing out his backstory. There's so much more enrichment with how I perceive his Batman because of it. You know what I mean? Like you get to see him training with the League of Shadows.
I totally agree, dude. And there's something else that I wanted to bring up about Christian Bale's Batman. He has a personality. You know what I mean? Now, that's not to say that Pattinson doesn't.
You know,
But Pattinson's personality is Batman. You know, he's moody and brooding all the time. I like Bale's Batman because he's the most well-adjusted of all of them mentally.
Yeah, you're so right.
He can crack a joke with Alfred,
I know,
which I love.
When you were saying that, it made me think that I think this is one of the only on-screen Batmans that has a really good back and forth with Alfred.
He's there with him every step of the way. Now we're just talking about Alfred, but like Michael Keaton's Alfred is amazing.
Every Alfred on-screen performance rated.
Yeah, and basically all that is to say, I think I'm shouting out Chris Stuckman here in one of his old Batman reviews, where he talks about how a good Batman actor plays 3 roles. Bruce Wayne Playboy, Bruce Wayne in the cave with Alfred, and Batman.
Yeah.
And Christian Bale is the only actor out of all the ones that we mentioned that plays all 3 of them perfectly.
Yeah, really, really solid.
He's the best. But that is to say, he's the best live-action Batman because...
Oh yeah, guys.
Surprise, the actual best Batman is Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, agreed. He just does so many things just absolutely perfectly. It's to the point where, you know, you read a comic book and you hear his voice as you're turning each page, you know? And you guys might be thinking, oh, well, we're talking about movies. Mask of the Phantasm.
The best Batman movie that is ever...
Go watch it.
...has ever been made.
Yeah, really, really good. And specifically in that role, if we're counting that as like, you know, the only ranking where we can count him as a movie Batman.
It's the best Batman performance ever.
It's amazing. And we're talking about, you know, the different sides of Bruce Wayne. And that movie's so heartbreaking because each side is tearing itself apart. You know what I mean? He's grappling with the fact that to be Batman, he can't be happy.
He can't. Every single thing that we've been talking about that it takes to excel as a Batman actor, he does it better than everyone else. Christian Bale's our #1 live action.
Christian Bale is our #1, but we just thought we want to throw in Kevin Conroy because he eats his dues.
His name needs to be mentioned and respected.
Exactly. But if we're talking about just the list itself, just count this as like a little bonus. And yeah, that's our list, guys. Fucking tear us apart.
Tear us apart. But please be respectful to everyone else in the comments. Let us know who you like the most, who you like the least.
But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like on it. It really helps us out.
Thank you guys so much. We'll catch you in the next video. We love you.
Peace, guys.